Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the University of London program briefing. My name is Jaslyn, and I'm one of the managers in charge of the University of London programs. And today with me, I have Dr. James Abday, who is the Associate Academic Director from London School of Economics and Political Science. And James is actually back in London right now, and it's actually early in the morning. It's 7 a.m. over in London. So good morning, James. All right. So welcome everyone. So both me and James, and together with one of our student, Felicia Susanto, she will also share with you her student experience taking the UOL programs. All right. So let me just move on to the first slide. Okay. A little bit of information about UOL in SIM. We actually started running the UOL program back in 1986. So in fact, this year we are celebrating our 35 years of partnership with University of London. And back in 1986, right, we only have about 40 students in the class taking the BSc management in economics. And today we have 31 undergraduate degree programs that we offer under University of London. And we have over 5,000 students who are taking programs right here in SIM campus. Okay, so from 40 students, we have actually expanded to having a big campus supporting students for over 5,000 students taking program with us right now. And so for the University of London program, we partner with 3 of the leading member institution or colleges as is known previously. They are LSE, London School of Economics and Political Science, UCL, and Goldsmith. Okay, so today our sharing will be on the programs that is under LSE. Okay, and for SIM, in case you're not aware, we are actually the largest teaching center offering UOL programs over here. And I mean, for UOL, they have over 100 teaching centers, and SIM is actually the largest center running programs in Singapore. And so for students who are taking UOL programs at SIM, I'm glad to share that our students, right after they graduate from the program, they are able to secure a job in the market. And you can see from here, this is based on our latest statistics information. So 82% of students are able to secure a job 6 months after completing their studies in SIM. All right, so I'm going to get James to share a little bit more about University of London and the lead college, LSE.
Thank you, Jaslyn, and a very good afternoon to you all, and a very good morning from here in London. So I am Associate Academic Director of these programs. So I just want to spend a few minutes speaking about sort of the relationship between the University of London, the London School of Economics, and SIM. So UOL itself, just to give it its acronym, founded back in 1836. So the University of London has a federal structure such that there are different member colleges of UOL, of which the London School of Economics and Political Science, to give it its full name, is one of its members. Now, UOL predates the LSE, as you should see some years on the screen there. 1836 for UOL. LSE was founded back in 1895. So we were talking about birthdays, and indeed the 35th anniversary of SIM offering University of London programs. At LSE, we had our 125th birthday last year. Now, throughout that 125-year history, LSE has managed to be ranked second globally for the social sciences. Now, just to emphasize what we mean by the social sciences. So LSE is like a boutique or specialist university in that we only teach and conduct our research in the field of the social sciences, which itself is really the study of people. for example, the economic and political decision-making of individuals. So non-social science subjects are not offered at the LSE. So we're very specialist in that respect. Now, the world is a pretty big place. So to be ranked as second, I believe that's just behind Harvard, is testament to the academic rigor that is conducted at the LSE. Now, SIM is one among our global network of teaching centres. So currently we have a little over 30 accredited teaching centres globally, of which SIM is the largest. Now, the world is quite a big place, so that figure of 30 is really on the low side, such that we at LSE prioritise the quality of teaching centres over the quantity. Now, these are distributed quite widely around the world, but there is this accreditation such that teaching centres are only permitted to teach the LSE designed programs through UOL if they have the approval of the LSE. So there's this sort of strong like a quality control mechanism in place. In short, that means students, parents of students can be confident in the quality of the education that you would receive. So what do academics do all day? Well, it's a mixture of teaching and research, such that at LSE we consider ourselves a research-led teaching institution. Indeed, like most universities, LSE has a motto. Ours is in Latin, and forgive any poor Latin pronunciation, it's rerum cognoscere causas, for which the English translation is to understand the causes of things. So throughout all of the world-leading research that LSE academics undertake, it's about having a better understanding of the world around us, clearly with more of a social science angle. Now, the research outputs feed into the teaching that is undertaken at the LSE and by extension through our University of London programmes as well. We number about 36 Nobel laureates to date. That number one hopes to increase over time. And given the size of LSE, I mean, we're not a particularly large university in terms of numbers because we are, remember, that specialist institution just looking at the social science disciplinary areas. So once you take into account the size of the LSE, that 36 Nobel laureate count is extremely impressive. Now, if you decide to join these programs and successfully go on and graduate, you will be joining a UOL alumni network from over 180 countries. So you are very much part of a global community. And we have students, we see across those 30 plus teaching centres, such that over 50,000 University of London degrees are studied annually worldwide. Now, the relationship between University of London, London School of Economics and SIM is what I'd like to speak on next, such that each of these three institutions has a particular role to play. Now, the LSE is a member college of the University of London, but in terms of these degree programs, it is UOL, which is the degree awarding body. A little bit later on, we'll show you an example of a degree certificate upon successful completion of the program, and you will see that's awarded by University of London with the corresponding logo. Now, this is a British degree. And I'd like to think that the UK, in terms of higher education, is very much a world leader, such that British issued degrees are internationally recognised, such that whether a graduate is seeking to go straight into the world of work or perhaps pursue further studies, postgraduate studies at master's level, then being in possession of a University of London degree, I'd like to think would give the individual a competitive edge in the global marketplace, whether it's for postgraduate studies or for the world of work. Now, I'm sure many of you joining will be contemplating clearly perhaps many different degree programs, not just those run by UOL. And while there are many factors to take into consideration, I would say a key one is to recognize and appreciate that all degrees are not equal, in that the quality of the degree varies considerably. I mentioned that teaching centres, we have only 30 plus, such that we prioritize quality over quantity. And that should also feed through into your decision-making process with respect to your choice of university and degree program, such that it's the quality of the awarding body and the reputation it has among employers, universities for master's study, that should be a critical factor. So that's really the University of London place in this relationship. So where does the LSE come in? Well, we provide what's called the academic direction, such that all of the academic content that you would be learning, regardless of which specific degree program of ours you enrolled in, is developed and designed by LSE academics. So for myself, my day job is as a lecturer in statistics internally at the LSE. Admittedly, our campus is still currently closed, and so I'm doing all of my teaching from home, but I lecture on our internal undergraduate programs. And so it's myself and many esteemed colleagues across the LSE are involved in the designing of not just the syllabi, but the curriculum across all of the modules which make up a University of London degree. I mentioned we are a research-led teaching institution, and admittedly, our understanding of the world around us is continually evolving. But as the latest cutting-edge research is undertaken, those results feed into our curricula on our internal modules and, by extension, through our University of London offerings as well. Now, it's not just the syllabi, learning outcomes, curriculum, study materials that the LSE designs. When it comes to assessment, the examinations which students sit are written by LSE academics. Students sit their examinations locally. That would be around the world, given our global reach. But the grading of those assessments is done in London by the LSE academics, such that the students on the University of London degrees are examined and assessed to the same standard, that same high bar that is set for internal LSE students. Now, this is extremely important, and this goes to explain why the final degree certificate carries such quality, in that there is clear rigor in the assessment process, and that is very much a critical factor. So all examinations, all the questions that students sit in their exams will be set by LSE academics of a similar level of complexity to those in our internal examinations. Learning resources, clearly those sort of virtual for the time being, but we have what's called a virtual learning environment, basically a web portal where students can access all of their study materials. So that's the University of London and the LSE from the London side. Turning to SIM. So as our largest teaching centre, been going for 35 years strong. As Jaslyn mentioned, just a small cohort of 40 students back in 1986. And you can see the growth that has occurred in that time. So what role does SIM play? Well, they represent sort of the main sort of point of contact of the student with their studies, such that there's the campus, and you saw the lovely video hopefully at the introduction. It's been a little over a year since I last visited Singapore, so I miss the campus deeply, but it's at the campus where the teaching is undertaken. So the teaching of the LSE designed study materials is undertaken by local lecturers, many of them very long serving and very well acquainted with the respective modules. Now, university is not just about the study, there's that sort of social element to it as well. And by being at a campus, students have an opportunity, of course, to collaborate with their peers and expand their network locally. So that's really the roles that those three institutions play. And so we're all sort of very much integrated. Now, as you will see on here, some of my colleagues at the LSE, such that each degree program is sort of administered by a home a home academic department at the LSE. So the faces, happy faces you see on the screen there, these are all LSE academics in their respective departments, and they play the role of what we call an academic coordinator. So broadly, that means they have oversight of all aspects related to their disciplinary area. Now, this is not an exhaustive list of faces there, but it just goes to demonstrate that there is sort of buy-in from the academic side at the LSE, and so we're very enthusiastic about the University of London programmes. And we ensure that there is parity of content assessments between courses run on campus at LSE versus internationally. So, wow, this is what you are working towards, a sample degree certificate. Now, remember, all degrees are not equal. And I'd like you sort of mentally to equate this to a sort of a passport. Just prior to the start of this talk, we were talking about potential vaccine passports to allow travel. Well, I would say a degree certificate represents a passport to your future. And you can see there the University of London logo at the top. You can see reference to the LSE on the degree certificate, such that the graduate's name, having passed the approved examinations conducted by the LSE, and then with the classification degree name and the Vice Chancellor's signature with the nicer embossed logo towards the bottom. So this represents really the sort of like an educational passport, a passport to hopefully a very bright future, such that this is what is internationally recognized by employers for those who wish to go straight into the world of work, or if you wished to pursue postgraduate studies, potentially overseas. I mean, we have a strong track record, SIM especially, about its graduates getting into postgraduate studies at leading universities worldwide, LSE among them, and I'm sure Justin will speak a little bit on that a bit later on. But that is what you are working towards. So remember, all degrees are not equal. It's the quality of the degree, the reputation of the degree awarding body which matters. And a final segment for me. When the world returns to a degree of normality, and one hopes that's in the not too distant future, good news, the vaccines are rolling out quite well here in the UK, and one hopes globally as well. As reward for your hard work, you would have the opportunity, as all of our students globally have, to attend a physical graduation ceremony in London. Okay, inevitably with the pandemic, it didn't take place in 2020, but as you're looking to start your degree program, a few years ahead when we would expect your graduation to be, one hopes this all goes back to normal. You may recognize the individual in the very nice chair there. This is Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, the Queen's daughter, who is the Chancellor of the University of London. So Chancellor is like the sort of ceremonial figurehead of the university. And we hold two ceremonies, morning and afternoon, and Princess Anne will preside typically at one of them, and you would have potentially the opportunity to walk in front of Princess Anne at the graduation. So Princess Anne has been Chancellor for 30 to 40 years, and so she has presided over numerous ceremonies in that time. So there's a nice royal connection as well, and you have an opportunity to meet royalty.
All right, thank you, James. Thanks for your sharing. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how SIM deliver the programs, the University of London programs. Okay, so now for the UOL programs at SIM, so what we do is we actually provide class-based learning for students. What that means is basically there are classes for students to attend in SIM campus. So typically a student, can you hear me, James?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So typically for a student, right, you will take 4 subjects in a year, and which means that you will come for classes 4 times a week. All right, and so these classes are delivered by SIM lecturers. And you can see from these slides, we have 35 SIM lecturers teaching the UOL programs at SIM. Okay, so they are subject expert in the subjects that they are teaching, and many of them come with very rich teaching experience, especially in the University of London programs. Okay, so so you will get to learn a lot from the lecturers, and because it is delivered in a class lecture based, so you also get to interact with or rather get to know students who are taking the same subject as you in the class. Okay, so that will give you an opportunity to bond and also to bounce off ideas when it comes to topics to be discussed, or problem solvings that you need to do during your course of study. All right. So besides the SIM lecturers, we also have the UK academics whom will be teaching the students during the revision period. All right. So the bulk of your classes are conducted by SIM lecturers, and in addition, you will have the UK lecturers delivering the revision support, besides getting the support from your local lecturers. Okay, so in terms of resources, this is what you'll be getting. All right, the key materials that you will get is actually the UOL subject guides. Okay, so these are actually study materials developed by LSE. All right, and it basically dictates the framework for the subjects that's going to be covered for the academic year. All right, so all students, once you are enrolled or registered with University of London, you will be given access to the UOL VLE, which stands for Virtual Learning Environment. And inside the VLE, you will have the subject guides, which you can actually access it online. Okay, and besides that, because you're studying at SIM, so your SIM lecturers will provide you with additional lecture notes to supplement your study. Okay, so your SIM lecturers will guide you along, so you won't be studying all on your own. Okay, so you have your SIM lecturers to teach you on a weekly basis based on the topics that need to be covered in the subject guides. Okay, and now for some of the more challenging, more demanding courses, many times we will actually work with people like James or any of the academic head who's in charge for the different field to organize additional workshop for students online via what we call UOL webinar. Okay, so again, this will be communicated to students as and when we have all the details planned out for our students. And one last bit, past year exam papers, which is something that our students love to have it, right? So these are actually exam papers which students get to practice, right? And it's available in the UOL BLE, and also your local lecturers usually during the revision time, they will actually do some practice of the past year exam papers. Okay, so you have access to, besides the VLE and the SIM student portal, which is what we call here SIM Connect, you will also have access to the SIM library as well as the UOL online library. Okay, and that's not it. I mean, studying in the UOL program, it can be very rigorous, but at the same time, we do not neglect developing our students in the non-academic skills. So that is where we have Career Connect office, whereby they will actually organize workshops on career-related talks for students. We do have internship opportunities for students. We do have industry talks by employers and so on and so forth. So students can tap on all this additional support that we provide to students. And for student development, basically they are actually a dedicated team, and their main focus is really providing non-academic support for students in the area of CCA. All right, so if let's say you are someone who is very sporty, right? You like to play badminton or basketball or even dragon boat, right? SI is very strong in dragon boat. So we have different student clubs available for students, more than 70 student clubs that students can participate. if let's say you are accounting students, you can actually join our SIM Accounting Association, which has very strong participation from students because it allows you to network with companies that are providing, they are looking out for accounting students, all right, and you get to leverage on all this platform to increase your network. Okay, so these are the many supports that we provide for students. And so besides the SIM lecturers who are teaching, right, we also, like I mentioned, we have the LSE, our academic lecturers from LSE, all appointed by LSE to come down to SIM to deliver UK revision classes for our students. So these are, at the bottom row, these are pictures of our UK lecturers conducting revision classes in campus. All right, so if it's during, of course, now during pandemic, all our UK lecturers can't be here. So what we do is we actually deliver it online or through recorded video. All right, and of course, we have people like James and the director from LSE who will actually visit us in the past, right? And they also get opportunity to meet up with students and interact with students. And we have James. Previously, James used to come down to SIM campus and he will share about, James is actually from LSE, and he will give talks on postgraduate studies or undergraduate studies in LSE in London. Okay, so we do have very close connection with UOL and LSE staff, and our students will get opportunity to meet up with them. Okay, so now besides the classes that you'll be attending, there are many other student learning support that we provide to students. So one of the popular support that our students love to tap on is actually the PAL, which stands for Peer Assisted Learning. So the PAL is actually a student learning support provided by our senior students who have taken the subject and they have done pretty well. And SIM will actually identify these students and will train them to help students who are actually to get them better in some of these tough subjects. Okay, so now this peer assisted learning is not it's not a compulsory component, right? It's actually a support that's available to students. So if you find that you are not very strong in economics, right, and you're struggling, or you think that you might struggle before classes starts, right, so keep a lookout for such services that are available. You could sign up, and then we will actually pair you up with some of the seniors who are good in these subjects, and they can actually guide you along. They will not be your teacher, but they will be like a facilitator, helping you to better manage some of these demanding and challenging subjects. Okay, so besides that, we have other consultation services for students. One example is the academic writing, which most of our students come from A-level or polytechnic and even high school. So you may not be very familiar with academic writing. Okay, so this is something that our students need to strengthen their skills in this area. And we actually have our student learning support providing academic writing workshops, which I strongly encourage students to build up their skills in this area. Okay, so you can see there are many skills and workshops that are available for students, and most of them are actually free of charge. Okay, it's provided for our students to tap on. Now, if you have a desire to go London to do on-campus studies, but for some reason you can't, right? Especially now with pandemic, and also sometimes going overseas for studies can be very costly. So, so what you can do is you do the the UL programs at SIM campus, right? But during the summer school, the summer period, which runs from June, July, August, we have what we call the LSE summer school. And so LSE, they are actually very famous for in fact, they are one of the largest university offering summer schools in Europe. And so our students can apply to go for the summer school, right? And you can do a 3 weeks or up to 9 weeks of summer school program. So you pick if it's a 3 weeks, you pick one course to do, and you basically you study over there during the summer period. And if a student complete 2 summer school courses, if your degree structure allow, then you can get an exemption from what we call the one unnamed elective course. And so that with that, you get to complete the remaining subjects, the remaining 11 subjects of the degree structure. Okay, so summer school is something that increasingly we are seeing more of our students joining the summer school programs, which is not as costly as, you know, if you were to go for a 3 years degree program in London. And yes, and one good news is, right, we have the LSE provides 3 scholarship every year worth up to £3,000, and this is available to our SIM, solely for SIM LSE students. So if you are keen, this is something that you can consider. So these are just some photos of our students who have went for the summer school. The first lady on the left, Sok Sien, she is actually a Malaysian, right? So she did the summer school program in June. We have Terence from Singapore and Yadana, who's actually from Myanmar. All right, so so it's a great experience for students. Now, if you want something more, you find that, oh, 3 weeks is actually too short. I want something more than that. One other option you can consider is the LSE General Course. So the LSE General Course is basically you get to spend 1 year at LSE doing the undergraduate program. Okay, so you will take 4 full courses over at LSE campus, and once you complete and pass the courses, you'll be credited back. So you will graduate just like any of SIM UOL students. You will get a UOL degree. Okay, so you can see we have put some means. Now for the general course, because it's very costly, right? Just the course itself for 1 year, it will cost you about $40,000 just for the degree program, excluding your expenses and your accommodation. Okay, so we don't see many students going for this, but at least 1 or 2 students will consider this. And you can actually do this in your final year. So aim to do well, right? It's not a guaranteed entry into general course, but it's possible. If you do well in your first 2 years, you can apply for the general course. And this is a sample of the transcript of our students who has done his general course in his final year. Okay, so now, so what are the degree choices available under LSE? So these are, we have 10 degree choices that you could consider. All right, so all the courses listed here, they are available full-time. If you are looking at part-time program, those in asterisk are also available part-time. Accounting finance, banking finance, and business management, they are available full-time and part-time. For the rest of the degree programs, they are only available full-time. All right, if you are a fresh school leaver, that means you just graduated from JC or you're finishing your polytechnic or high school, look under standard entry, all right, and you'll be doing a 3 years bachelor degree. Graduate entry is only for someone who has already gotten a degree and wish to do another degree. So they will come under graduate entry, whereby they will do a 2 years degree for this UOL program. Okay, graduate diploma choices, again, it is more for someone who, a person who has already gotten a bachelor degree and would like to do an additional top up, right, to do a specialization in any of this area. So if you already have a degree, you can also consider doing a graduate diploma of your choice. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the structure. So what happens is, if you are if you have A-level or polytechnic, you can actually start off with year 1, right? And then you move on to 2nd year, followed by the 3rd year. So it's a 3 years bachelor degree. If you do not have, now for the A-level, you need to have 2 H2 passes. So if you do not have 2 H2 passes, then you will fall under partial A-level, or you did not complete your polytechnic diploma, or you didn't do well in your polytechnic diploma, or you have an international qualification. Then another option for you to consider is the Certificate of Higher Education in Social Sciences. Okay, so this is equivalent to the 1st year of the bachelor degree, and can be accomplished all in 3 years. Now, if you have a polytechnic diploma or SIM diploma, you can look at a fast-track degree. Okay, so what happens is you do the intensive 6-week courses in bridging, and after you pass all the modules, you can move on to the second year of the bachelor degree. Okay, let me elaborate further about this. So for example, if you have a business polytechnic diploma or you have SIM diploma, you can actually consider doing the bridging course for econs, maths, and accounting. There's no GPA required, and the class starts in June, finish off in August. Okay, so course fee is $695 and 50 cents per subject. Okay, if you are a non-business polytechnic diploma student, for example, you have an IT diploma or engineering diploma, and you do not want to do a 3-year, you want to do a fast track, this is one option you can consider. The requirement is your polytechnic GPA must be minimum 2.8 and above. All right, so you can do the bridging course for EMFSS, and the classes starts in May, and the course fee is listed there. Okay, a little bit more about the bridging course for econs, mathematics, and accounting. All right, so what happens is you will do 2 courses. So if you wish to do any of the degrees except accounting and finance, then you will do bridging econs and maths. Okay, if you want to do BSc accounting and finance, then you got to choose the bridging course in accounting and the bridging course in mathematics. All right, so these are the 2 options that you can consider. Now, for someone who doesn't have O-level pass in math, then you will have to do the bridging math to meet the math course requirement. Okay, for the polytechnic non-business diploma, these are the 3 subjects which are compulsory for students to take. The classes are longer, and also this is only possible if you are looking at any of these 3 degrees here: accounting, banking, and business and management. All right, so a little bit about our success stories now. So every year we celebrate the success of our students' achievement, right? And this year, because of pandemic, we can't do it physically, so we actually have an online achievers event, and it was held on the 17th of February. The background that you see, these are actually photos of our students who were actually online on that day. It was a great celebration. Just to share with you, we have students who did very well in the course. 304 students have scored first class, and 165 students have topped the world in some of the papers. All right, so it's a great achievement, and we are very proud of our students. All right, so these are just some statistics figure just to share with you. So basically, this is to tell you, for example, for accounting and finance, 18% of our students who are in accounting and finance scored first class. Okay, if you look under econs and finance, it has a higher number, 34%. So so that goes to show that actually students who did the econs and finance, they are very strong in their analytical skills, and those who are very good, they did very well in the course. All right. Some basic information about our students' profile, right? On the whole, about 70 to 80% of our students are Singaporeans. The remaining 20 to 30% are from international students. All right. So some information about JC. Most of our JC students come from Innova, Catholic JC, and Anderson's JC. Right, but nevertheless, we still have students from other junior college that who actually did well in their first class. Information about our students who have done well. You can see that right, our students do secure good jobs in the market. Right, Amazon Web Services is one of subsidiary of Amazon. I think all of us are very familiar with Amazon. Stingray is actually working for one of the government agencies in Singapore. All right, and Indra is actually working for one of the global financial services company, JP Morgan in Jakarta. Right, polytechnic students are doing just as well. We have students who are working with again a government agency, ICA. Amos is working for a German bank company, and he comes from Nanyang Polytechnic. Okay, so these are just some of the success stories of our students. Our students are doing well. they are able to secure a job. And besides that, our students also participate in CCA, and that helps to groom their skills, not just academic, but also non-academic area. We also have students who are passionate about studying, and they move on to do postgraduate studies. All right, so just to show you our students going overseas, we have students who are doing masters locally in Singapore. And if you are looking at scholarship, we also have scholarships available at SIM. I also mentioned about the LSE Summer School Scholarship. Okay, so the ballpark figure for a full 3 years program is about 32,000, right? You don't have to pay everything at one go, so it'll be payable on a yearly basis. And application deadline, our next application closing is 1st April for both local and international students. Our classes for undergraduate degree starts in August. For part-time students, our classes will start in September. All right. And yeah, to apply, just go online to SIM website. Application fee as stated here. Any questions you have, you can always drop an email to our SIM office. All right, so that's all I have to share right now. I'm going to pass over to Felicia, who will share a little bit more about her student experience. Felicia, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Jocelyn. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Felicia, and right now I'm pursuing my bachelor degree in SIM UOL Accounting and Finance. And right now I'm already in my final year, which is year 3. So I will just going to share a bit of my experience studying in SIM UOL. So throughout my experience in SIM UOL, I've gone through the physical class for 2 years before this pandemic, but right now it's already moved to online. Actually, I think SIM is a really good place to study. During my time when I have a physical class, I usually study in I can study in library, or maybe there is like a study area also. I think SIM is have a good environment and environment to study, really supports us in study. So and for now everything is moved to online. We attend our class through the online platform called the Cultura, and also I think the lecturer in SIM, they're really helpful. If we have any questions, just ask them. And just a little background of how the program in SIM in the UOL is like there will be like from September to February, there will be like a study or class period. Then after that, there will be a prelim in March. So a prelim is like some kind of a simulations where you can practice to do the exam. So it is a great way also for you to get an overview of how the exam would be like. And then after that, there will be a revision period by the UK lecturer. Usually during the physical one, the UK lecturer will come from the UK to SIM campus, but right now everything is online. Then after that, there will be the exam on May. Yeah, so I think maybe I can share a bit of my experience, like a challenge that I faced during my study in SIM. Maybe at first when I came into the university, I think it's really something really different, like the learning method and everything compared to when I was in school. So how I overcome it is like maybe I read the lecture first, like before the class itself, to make me understand first what is going to be explained by the lecturer. Even like I don't understand what I'm reading, but at least I know what I don't know. Then when the class itself, I I can get the answer on the things that I don't know. Then maybe for this time period, the online learning, I think everyone would agree if sometimes we have like lost in motivations in studying, but how I overcome it is like sometimes I take a break, then I call my friend to study together. And yeah, I think it's a really great way also to study with friends, because you have the motivations, like you see your friend studying and you also want to study to together we achieve a good grades lah. Yeah, so what my advice to you guys, last thing is I think that's a great way also to not only to study in your university life, but also to join like CCAs, because in SIM there is lots of CCAs ranging from maybe like an international student clubs, and then arts and culture, sports, and so special interest clubs, and etc. etc. For myself, I joined some CCAs, which are like SIM Accounting Associations, and then SIM Young Entrepreneur Network, and the Indonesian network, because I'm from Indonesia. And from that CCAs, I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot. So it's a great way to fulfill your university life, not to study only, but also make yourself grow personally and professionally through the CCAs. Yeah, I think that's all from me sharing.
All right, thank you, Felicia. That's a very great sharing from Felicia. Hearing from our students from a student perspective. Felicia actually comes from Indonesia. She's actually now currently in her final year. Okay, she's doing the accounting and finance degree, and that explains why she's actually doing. She actually joined the SIM Accounting Association, right? Because that is very, very useful. Okay, so if any questions for Felicia with regards to accounting finance degree, do feel free to ask questions. We have actually come to the end of the session, and we would like to take this opportunity to open up the session for for all of you our audience to actually ask questions if you have. Right, this will be a good opportunity for you to seek any clarification. Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can actually type your question in the chat box, and we will help to address the questions.
Hi, Jocelyn. I have transferred the question from online platform to the Zoom chat box. Okay. They are 5 at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So the first one, yeah, asking like, is it classes in campus or hybrid learning option at the moment?
All right. Okay. So now, because of the current pandemic situation, we have to follow the government guidelines, and at the moment, our classes are actually it's only possible to have classes for selected subjects. Okay, so what we plan to do is, if you are joining us for the August classes, right? Majority of the classes will be held in campus. Okay, that's for August classes. There may be some subjects whereby the classes will be delivered online. All right. For classes that are starting in September, again, for full-time classes, it will be we will have some subjects that will be conducted in campus. Okay, and then perhaps another about 60% of our classes will be online for now, for classes that are starting in September. And if you are joining us for the part-time classes, then the classes will be done online. Okay, so currently this is the plan for classes that are starting this year. So if you want physical classes, try to apply early and join our August classes and that's only for local students. All right, international students, your classes will only start in September. So if you are not able to enter, then again, it depends on ICA whether you get your student pass. So most of the classes for international students could be online, but if let's say you're in campus, then you can choose some classes to be physical. Okay.
So the second one is, could we elaborate more about student learning support that they will receive from SIM as well as UOL as well? Like perhaps like PAL learning support.
Yeah. Okay. So
workshop.
So earlier on, I mentioned about the student learning support. That comes from our student learning center. I think one of the key support that we provide for students is the PAL, peer assisted learning. Okay, so if let's say students are facing challenges for some of the subjects, right? You can take a look at the PAL workshops that we open for students. Now, the peer assisted learning workshop, we don't offer for all subjects, but we offer for quite a bit of a fair bit of subjects that are pretty challenging. So the PAL program is basically where we have our senior students who have done and passed very well for these courses. They will be there to help to guide students to better manage the subject that they are struggling with. Okay, so that's for the PAL support. For academic writing, actually consultation with academic writing, with oral presentation, and I think we also have mathematics drop-in session, right? So if students are struggling with math and you just need some advice, you can go to our student learning center to get some consultation advice. Okay, so consultation is basically by students who are strong in math or students who are good in academic writing. They can also give you advice. We also run academic writing workshops. These are delivered by teachers or academic staff who are able to guide students on how to do a good academic writing. So which is necessary, especially in your UOL programs. Okay. So where do you get all this support? It's actually available in SIM campus. All right. So you may want to just go to our SIM website to take a look. Under Student Life, you can look under Student Life, and there are some of this support that's mentioned here. You can just take a look from there. Yeah, I mean, if students can't go to campus during this period, then some of these services are actually provided online for our students. Okay, so question number 3, will all classes be held online in August? Like I mentioned earlier, so August, if you are joining us for August classes, majority of the classes will be conducted in campus. Okay, we may have a few classes that could be online, but the bulk of the classes that will be starting in August will be run in the school campus. But if you're joining us for September, we will still have some physical classes, but not for all subjects. Okay.
Okay, I'll perhaps take the, I see there's another couple of questions on exams. I'm happy to take those. So sort of in reverse order. So is UOL 100% exam based? So the vast majority of individual modules are assessed by 100% exam, but vast majority does not equal all. So there are some exceptions. So there are a few modules where there is a diversified assessment element, which will involve a piece of coursework and then a summative examination. Now, this exam structure of being predominantly exam-centric is to reflect the assessment practices internally at the LSE, whereby the vast majority of our internal modules are summatively assessed by a single examination. But longer term, I mean, this some aspects of assessed coursework, albeit by no means mainstream at this stage. There are a few modules which do exhibit that, and there's potential for that to grow in the years ahead. The other question was about preliminary examinations. So indeed, UOL only has a single examination sitting per year, predominantly for logistical reasons, in that there are a vast number of students globally, and logistically it is a vast operation to conduct examinations in so many different modules in so many different countries. So we have our single examination sitting, usually in May and June. 2020, a slight exception with the pandemic that exams got pushed back by a few weeks, but May, June is the usual exam period. The preliminary examinations are indeed meant to simulate and represent a normal examination. So yes, the prelims are similar to the final examinations. Clearly not identical questions, because that would take away the element of surprise in the main exams.
I think there's a question about bridging course in July. Okay, for maybe I need Heath. Is Heath around? For July bridging classes, are we conducting online or physical?
It will be online. If the student numbers are very large, it will be online.
Okay, yeah. So for July classes, it will be online. Most likely will be online. Yeah, for the July bridging. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Heath. Okay. Chess students will be able to enter standard route in year 2. Yes. So for chess, if you are doing the certificate of higher education in social sciences, once you pass all the modules in the certificate program, then you will move on to the year 2 of the bachelor degree. So if you pass all the 4 subjects in the certificate program, you will also get the certificate for the chess. Okay, so you'll get 2 certificates. One is for the chess program that you undertook in your first year, and when you move on to the bachelor degree, once you successfully completed the degree program, you will get the degree certificate. All right.
Hi, Jocelyn. James, bear in mind we still have 10 minutes for question.
10 minutes. All right. Okay. So what's the difference between Birmingham, UOL, RMIT, and Buffalo for the same course?
Well, I'm going to be biased in my answer to this. Well, I mean, more generally, of course, there are many universities around the world, and let's say I know a BSc in economics, but all degrees are not equal, and it's not for me to say if one university is deemed better or worse than another. I mean, you can all look at the various league tables, albeit league tables should be viewed with a degree of caution, because it depends on the methodology exactly where someone ranks. However, to take, let's say, a BSc in economics, there is a lot of autonomy in what is taught within a university. So let's say an introduction to economics module. Okay, for perhaps first year undergraduate modules, there's a reasonable degree of consistency of universities worldwide in the kinds of topics they would include, but the exact syllabi and way they teach a particular subject, that will vary from one university to another. I mean, it's like, well, not just in matters of higher education, but airlines, hotels. I mean, is it a standardized product? Well, there's some competition. There's a little bit of product differentiation. But this is why it's back to my point earlier, it's about the quality and reputation of the universities. So, I mean, I'll just trumpet LSE, of course, ranked number 2 in the world for the social sciences, albeit with my caveat about league table methodologies. To be ranked number 2 in the world, I'd say, is a fairly impressive feat. You may infer what you will from that particular ranking, and hence the quality of the education through the modules designed by the LSE. I would, if you are clearly browsing competitor degree programs, and rightly so, have a look in some detail, not just at a module title, but the specific sort of a broad summary overview of what's contained within those individual courses. BSc in economics, say, could be quite varied around the world, from offered by one university to another. So there'll be sort of different approaches or specialisms of modules within a particular degree program. So it always pays to do research, and that's why it's great that you attend information sessions such as this, where if we haven't covered all of your doubts, hopefully by the end of this session you feel a bit more informed than you did at the start, to allow you to make an informed decision. So, but I would say maybe not the sole factor, but a critical one must be the quality of the degree program that you would enroll on.
I think one thing we can mention about is the teaching method. So example, for UOL, most of our module are 100% exam based. So that means if you pass, you pass. You fail, that means you have to retake the entire module the next academic year. Whereas RMIT is a little bit like polytechnic style. You have exam, class, room, coursework, and then you have assignment. Yeah. Then Birmingham, a little bit similar to RMIT as well. Jocelyn, I believe they also have coursework, assignment beside the exam. Whereas Buffalo, their courses offer a little bit different from the rest of the university. They are more on sociology, psychology side, and communication, which different from RMIT, UOL, like we offer accounting, finance, economics. Yeah. So I believe the student who asked this question might have to, like James mentioned, will have to do a little bit study and research, not only for the module, but also on the teaching method and also the credibility on, of the courses and the degree as well. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so so look at what you prefer. All right, so because for UOL, a lot of the subjects are examination based, and James earlier on mentioned about some of the modules that we have called coursework, and even for this coursework is based on individual effort. Okay, so it's not a group assignment. So if you are someone who prefers to do individual work, then University of London perhaps may be a more comfortable choice for you. Okay, so don't look at or do a comparison in terms of the delivery method and assessment. I see which one you are more comfortable with. All right.
If I may just quickly add to that, again, I can't comment for the non-UOL programs, but with regards to ours, we do try to build in as much sort of flexibility into the degree programs as possible. For example, if you were to start on one specific degree program, but during your first year of study, maybe your academic interests evolve, maybe you're taking a module in a subject you've never studied before, and then find out that you fall in love with that subject. So with one or two exceptions, there could be the possibility to switch degree program from a BSc in X to a BSc in Y after the first year, such that when you look at the degree program structures deliberately, many of the year one modules are common across multiple degree programs. The majority will stick with their original choice of degree, but we do try to build in that flexibility such that don't feel you're necessarily locked in to a specific degree program from the start. Whether that applies to the non-UOL cases, I can't comment on.
Maybe Felicia, like if you have friends from other program like RMIT or Birmingham, if you know like maybe how they do their program, like you could share with us.
Yeah, it's like Justin mentioned also, for like I have a friends from RMIT. They are more like they have coursework, and projects and everything, something like that. But in UOL, there might not be something like that. Even if there is like a homeworks or projects, it will be only like for individual works, and it doesn't really taking into account for the final grades. Yeah, it's bit up to us if we want to do it or not, and
Okay,
it's
maybe
not
I
a
can
compulsory thing.
Yeah, okay, just to elaborate. So what Felicia is mentioning is actually the coursework that is given by your SIM lecturers, right? Because bearing in mind, you only get to take one exam, that is your classes starts as early as August or September, and you only go for the exams in May. UOL exams usually is in May, June. So so during your course of study, your SIM lecturers will give you coursework or even mini tests to take. Okay, so a coursework could be something that you do it on your own, or it could be a group coursework. and after which you submit to your assigned lecturers for marking. So this is how you assess, or your lecturer can assess, how much you know, how much you need to improve on, what you need to revise. So it's not just, going for classes, that's about it. No. During your course of study, while attending classes, your assigned lecturers will give you assignments to do, but it doesn't count into your final marks, right? Your final mark is still based on what the university set for the students. Okay, so this is a bit different from the UOL coursework. Some, like I mentioned, some UOL modules do have coursework element, and that will be counted as part of the assessment weightage. Okay.
Hi, Jocelyn. Hi, James. Felicia. We have 2 more minutes. Maybe we can address the last question about the employability of UOL
okay.
graduate. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So earlier on, I shared about the employment rate for our students. So specifically for UOL students, for last year, we have about 81% of students who actually found a job, within the first 6 months after getting their results. Okay, we have students, in fact, some of them, they have not even gotten their results. They have actually secured a place with an employer, just waiting for that piece of result to be released. Okay, so I think you do not have to worry in terms of whether are you able to find a job. It's really about, what's your attitude, how do you do, are you disciplined in the course, and set yourself goals to achieve. So if you're able to demonstrate to the employers that you can do well in your studies, more so, when it comes to work, you can do just as good. But like I said, as an employer, they do not just look at grade alone. So if you have the flexibility and the, you think that you can manage having a CCA or even going for career workshop and things like that, that will help to build up your skills, and also to demonstrate to the employers that you can multitask, not just in your studies. You can actually cope well doing your studies as well as leading or participating in any of the CCA. All right.
And to add on, the student, if they want to know like what are the percentage, so based on the last 2 years survey that we conducted on the full-time programs graduates, actually the employability rate is very high, is 81%. Yeah, of course the employment not only limit to full-time, it also include part-time job, freelancers as well. So like Jocelyn mentioned, the opportunity are always there for everyone. We just have to really grab and seize it while it offered to us, regardless big or small. Yeah.
And really, you're not all alone in this journey. We have our career development office. That's right. Okay, and over the years, we are pumping more effort and time in this area to help our students, to be career ready. Okay, so your job is really to come forward and participate in any of these workshops and opportunities that are given, to you. Okay, I mean, we even have employers knocking at our door to look for students who have a particular skills. And James, because now, right, data analytics is an in thing. We even have some of these companies asking us for graduates in this field. All right, so yeah, so I think reach out, get yourself network with many of these platforms that's available for you. Okay. All right, I think we need to end the session because we have to bear in mind there another session coming up soon. Thank you very much for spending your time with us. And if you do have any further questions, you can always drop us an email via our student recruitment office. Okay, thank you.
And our colleague at the consultation booth, they are still there helping to assist you with the question. If you have any doubts after this section is over. Yeah,
that's right. So you can just type in your questions, they will be able to answer you. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for spending time with us. Good luck with your research work, and hope to see you soon in campus. All right. Take care. Thanks, Felicia. Thanks, James.
Thanks, James, Jocelyn, and Felicia.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, James. Thank you, James.
Good luck for your exams, Felicia.
First class honor.
Yeah. Okay. You've done well. Keep it up. All right.
Thank
you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye, James.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, everyone.
See you tomorrow.